a killer car tire, a jelly bean Easter bunny, and the latest cinematic abomination from the director of Dragon Wars. This week on The Preview Review. I review movie previews. Good movie lovers, what's up? It's April 1st, and H-Wood is hoping that we're foolish enough to see Insidious.
He's not in a coma. They don't know what to call it. I went into Dalton's room. There was something in there with him.
It's about a family who thinks their house is haunted until a wannabe poltergeist lady tells them,
it's not the house that's haunted. It's your son.
oh man, what a bummer. No PlayStation for you tonight, devil boy. Now they have to find a way to get the evil out of him because it's so insidious. That's kind of a big word. I wonder what it means. Maybe the trailer can help us. Okay, not the definition of the word, but I guess that's good to know. And what does that mean? If we like those two films, we're gonna like this one? Who exactly are the makers? First, the director here is James Wan. In terms of the Paranormal Activity connection, it's Oren Peli. In terms of the vision, it looks like Oren is winning out here. There really doesn't seem to be the torture porn influence of Saw, but we are getting that Paranormal Activity, creepy, uneasy, jump in your seat scare feeling going on here. Insidious is like Poltergeist, or is it The Exorcist? Maybe it's The Last Exorcism, or The Exorcism of Emily Rose. Wait, maybe it's The Omen. Based on that, it seems like the movie is insidiously trying to get our money and trap us in the theater. We've all pretty much seen this done before. While there are some new scary images, especially this one, is that like the ghost of Darth Maul? That's actually pretty creepy looking. But in the end, we get this sense that we're not going to be blown away with something new when it comes to the kid being possessed / haunted house movie. Because of that, it's unworthy of big screen viewing. Check it out as a rental. You know what you're going to get with this. It's not that different from movies that have come before. You might check it out because it has an actor from Watchmen in it, as well as Crazy Mom from Black Swan. Interestingly, the budget here is only $1 million. That should be respected and a point of inspiration for future filmmakers. It seems like everyone took a pay cut here just to get this movie made. That alone is the main factor for giving this movie hope. Before we go, let's take a look at the poster. It's got a little bit of the roommate in it, plus some of the orphan, and that kid from The Unborn, minus the ass. And that's a tantalizing transition to one of the first images of the next movie, Rubber.
What brand of tire?
Probably brandless.
Why do girls always dress like that when they're staying at cheap, rundown motels? And no, you're not hallucinating. This is not an April Fool's joke. This is a real movie. The main character is, in fact, a rubber car tire that's psychotic and has psychic powers. Oh my god. Robert just nuked a cop's head. I'm not really sure what this means. Visionary director Quentin, French last name. He's not necessarily visionary in that Stanley Kubrick, I've made a ton of awesome movies kind of way and proven myself. It's more like he has a vision, a unique one, and he's bringing it to the screen. So it's more of a technically factual statement than it is a statement of a reputation. Interestingly, the director here is better known as an electro house musician. While that's kind of a warning sign, this does look pretty well made. The cinematography is very sharp. The overall story and comedic influence seems to be a mix of Red Balloon meets Evil Dead 2 Dead by Dawn and Reno 911. Oh yeah, and with head explosions, it's got a little trauma entertainment influence to it. It's quirky and strange, but are we gonna check it out? A story about a tire named Robert that goes around killing people can only be interesting for so long. And it's gonna sound kind of weird to say this, but how much character development is this tire gonna get? If there isn't an emotional character hook to keep us interested, we're gonna be thinking, this would have been a cool music video, but a 90-minute movie? Come on. It's in limited release and probably most of us will see it on Netflix in like a month or two. But if you do happen to see it on the marquee of a theater near you, I'd recommend checking it out at matinee price. Arguably, it's something we've never seen before in this form, and because of this experimentation, it is a sign of movie hope. If Rubber is trying to avoid cliches, The Last Godfather is using them all.
It is time. I am stepping down as Don. I do have a son. He is the one I want to take over the head of this family. But I never forgot about my boy, my blood, my son. Young Goo. Young Goo? Young Goo. Young Goo. Young Goo. Young
Goo. Alright, stop. Where are the funny parts? Hung Ra Shim is behind and in front of the camera here because I guess Mr. Bean and Roberto Benigni weren't available, giving us the story of Young Goo, the not-so-quick-witted son of a powerful mobster who's retiring and wants to pass on his business. Obviously, the Don knows that his son isn't the sharpest knife in the drawer and wants his henchmen to train him to be the leader.
You need to teach him how to fight like a man.
Harvey, how do you go from mean streets to this? Dude, you are the wolf. So that's the story. Bumbling henchmen, including John Pinette. Where has he been the last 20 years? So him and his buddies have to teach Young Goo the tricks of the trade. And supposedly, that's where the funny starts. Any minute now. This is a comedy, right? Maybe the problem isn't that this isn't funny. Maybe it's because we've seen it done before so many times. Charlie Chaplin, Buster Keaton, Harold Lloyd, Laurel and Hardy, Mel Brooks, Channing Tucker, Channing Wilson, Harold and Kumar, Bruno, Borat. Maybe we're just jaded.
Okay.
We're not jaded. It's another of this week's limited releases, so most of us again will have the opportunity to check it out via some on-demand service. It's hard to hate on a movie that's trying to make us laugh, especially when there's earthquakes and economic turmoil going on, but it would be nice if it was aware of jokes of the past and tried to do something better, different, and bigger than what's come before. It basically seems like a lazy version of Mafia. With that said, this is definitely Moviepocalypse, and it's filled with jokes that we've experienced over and over and over again. Just like our next film, Source Code, starring Donnie Darko, where he plays a soldier that's part of a military experiment that allows a person's consciousness to travel into the mind of a person who died 8 minutes. Let's just let Jeffrey Wright explain everything.
You are inside the source code.
What is the source code?
It's a computer program, Captain.
Source code enables you to cross over into another man's identity in the last 8 minutes of his life.
Why just 8 minutes? Does that remind anyone of the Nicolas Cage I Need a Paycheck movie Next, where he can only travel 2 minutes into the future? What's the logic behind that? And why does it have to be of a person who died? Oh, because screenwriter Ben Ripley needs a plot device that justifies a time loop. Isn't this idea played out, and aren't we tired of these movies? Of course there's Groundhog Day, the canceled TV show Daybreak, a Star Trek The Next Generation episode from season 5 titled Cause and Effect. Yes, I'm a Star Trek nerd. An X-Files episode titled Monday, and the indie hit Primer. Source Code seems to be a mashup of all those ideas, plus the Denzel Washington, Ridley Scott, I Can TiVo reality sci-fi action movie Deja Vu, which perfectly explains how we feel about this idea. So let's take a guess at the story structure. Act 1, or the first 30 minutes, will be an unbroken timeline where we see the day after tomorrow trying to achieve his mission, the train explodes, he fails, and then he flashes back to Jeffrey Wright and everyone else in the experimental environment. He's disoriented, his mission definition is explained to him, and then he goes back in to source code. Generally, Act 2 in a movie is about 60 pages or 60 minutes, and since the source code time loops only last for 8 minutes, dividing that into Act 2, we're gonna get roughly 7 to 8 sequences of him trying to achieve his objective. And so that we, the audience, don't get bored, there will be a little variety in terms of the way that things are filmed and of how the interactions go between characters. Slowly, he'll make progress and find out more information in regards to achieving his objective. Act 3 will consist of the final 8-minute loop where Prince of Persia is successful at saving Eagle Eye's life and stopping the train from blowing up. Then add in a few extra minutes to show that they're gonna fall in love and everything ends happily ever after. Or does it? Because there's a twist. Are they stuck inside of source code still? And are we inside of source code? This kind of reminds me of eating cold pizza. When it's out of the oven, it's amazing. The next day as a leftover, it's not bad. There is hope though, that the creativity of director Duncan Jones, who made Moon, can take this cold idea, pop it in the microwave, and make it taste like it just got made. Add to that a very solid group of actors, and there is a possibility that this could be something interesting. But it all comes down to the writing. Even the best chefs can't make excellent dishes with subpar ingredients. So because of the background of the writer, I'm a little hesitant to give this a regular price, so let's go matinee. Check it out, it should be a fun time. The directing, acting, and cinematography should be pretty solid here. Also, let's consider that this is a pretty big risk for H-Wood to be releasing this film. It's basically an original idea, it's not adapted, remade, or rebooted from anything. There's no pre-existing market for it. Because of that, and the director involved, let's give this movie hope. Adrian Brody stars in a film with a title that describes his career since he won an Oscar for The Pianist. Basically, it's another version of the People Stranded Somewhere movie. Here he wakes up in a crashed car, in the forest, in the middle of nowhere, without his memory. Wait a minute.
What's the last thing you remembered?
That would be awesome if this was Predators, Ors. But instead it's going to be a mix of wilderness survival and flashbacks. Did he rob a bank? Did he kill a teller? Did he get into the accident as he was escaping from police? Or is he a good guy that followed the robber, unleashed justice, and created the accident? Michael Greenspan is the director here. He hasn't really done anything big, but he is working with his frequent screenwriting collaborator, Christopher Dodd. It's being limitedly released by IFC, so let's just wait for a rental. While it looks pretty well made and returns the Predator's actor back to his thespian roots, it really isn't anything that different. But because it has filmmaking passion and independent spirit, let's give it movie hope. We can all pretty much agree that Hop is going to be #1 this weekend.
E.B. You're about to be crowned the Easter Bunny. Shouldn't you be rehearsing your speech?
Look, Dad, I want to drum in a band. I want to see the world.
Now listen to me. You need to get it together, get rid of these drums, and get your priorities straight.
How can we not see an Easter-themed computer animation movie around Easter time? It's got a ton of recognizable actors voicing the characters here, is directed by Tony Hill, who has a big background with children's animation, so the story is in the hands of someone who's familiar with the genre. It also kind of has the same setup as Alvin and the Chipmunks. Some dude who's down on his luck runs into a talking animal and takes him into his house. Things get wacky and crazy, a lot of chaos, but there's funny along the way. The story for our main character, Easter Bunny, or EB, is that he doesn't want to take over for his father. He has dreams of being a drummer in a band, so he goes to Hollywood to pursue them. The dad doesn't want that to happen, so he sends out the Bunny Navy SEALs to get him back. Beyond that, do we need to know anything more? We're just here for the genre. We're gonna eat it up like a pile of freshly shat jelly beans. And come to think of it, has there ever been an Easter-themed movie? When I think about Easter bunnies on the big screen, this is the only character that comes to mind. Are you wondering if you'd like this film? Here's a test. Does it bother you that the globe here is for some illogical reason shaped like an egg? Are you cool with Russell Brand being the voice of EB? Did this line make you laugh?
All great artists suffer before they become famous. That lady wrote Harry Potter in a ditch.
Does it bother you that somehow he's eating the smallest carrot on earth? Can you handle a been there, done that, this is so culturally tired cameo from the Hoff?
Stop! Stop! I didn't like it. I loved it!
If you answered no, yes, yes, no, yes, then you're gonna enjoy this. It's everything it's supposed to be for the audience that it's aimed at. But it still doesn't seem like it's gonna blow us away with its originality. It's kind of just doing something that hasn't been done before, but doing it in a standard kind of way. Because of that, matinee price. It's got cutesiosity and actor factors going for it, and will have something for everyone. Because of that, let's say this is movie hope. By the way, what's up with the preview voiceover guy here? It sounds like he recorded this from his deathbed.
The Easter Bunny works one day a year, travels the world, and is beloved by everyone. Who wouldn't want a job like that? Now he's chasing his dream and letting nothing stand in his way. This spring, it's all about candy, chicks, and rock and roll.
In Trust, a family is torn apart when a 14-year-old girl gets a MacBook Pro for her birthday.
It's the new MacBook Pro.
And then starts using the preloaded online predator software, also known as iChat.
I'm chatting, Dad. My friend Charlie from California, he's a junior and plays volleyball for his high school.
This actually seems to be a socially important movie with a lesson that kids can learn, especially the ones that don't have common sense or good parents. Lesson 1. If you meet someone on the internet that has a romantic interest in you and sends pictures that are too good to be true and doesn't want a video chat so that they reveal what they look like, they're probably a predator. Lesson 2. If your daughter describes the mystery person this way...
He's smart and really funny. He's encouraging, he's sweet, and he thinks I'm beautiful.
They're definitely... Lesson 3. If internet stranger wants to meet you in a mall... Lesson 4. Just watch Dateline already. Come on. Though we all know there's only one real way to catch a predator. The preview here pretty much gives away the entire movie. She meets the perv, doesn't run away for some reason, gets taken advantage of, everyone finds out, emotionally and socially her life is ruined, and titles of prestigious film festivals convince us that this material is gonna be taken seriously. At least that's what the piano music's telling us here. But is the subject matter big enough for the theater screen? Can we see the same story on Lifetime or as a special news report on CNBC? The acting here will be solid, and it seems like Clive Owen has fallen to the B-list, or he's just in the mood to do smaller films and try acting instead of starring. And here's the strangest element of all. David Schwimmer is the director here. Yes, Ross from Friends is behind the camera. You gotta wonder why that's not being promoted. I bet the studio thinks that we'd be wondering, that guy from Friends is directing a serious movie? I don't really know if I wanna see that. This is actually his second film. In terms of the story and character drama, a reassuring note is that Robert Festinger, the writer of 2001's In the Bedroom, has penned the script here. So if you're in the mood for a really good drama, this shouldn't disappoint. But because it's, again, not anything that's big screen amazing, let's give it matinee price. It's socially relevant, it's basically a big screen version of Law & Order, and probably isn't a great first date movie. But it definitely is a sign of movie hope. The final movie of the week, again from IFC in limited release, is Kick-Ass Part 2. This is Defender 2. Oh no, wait. She's in it. Juno 2. Wow, Michael Cera really let himself go. Wait, that's Rainn Wilson. Hold on a second, I gotta check my notes.
Jock, he stole my wife. Can you arrest him?
Sometimes it's better just to accept these things.
Okay, this is Super, another spoof of the superhero genre, where a regular guy who's kinda slightly crazy decides to put on a uniform of some kind and pretend he's a hero. It seems like the main crime that he wants to fight is Liv Tyler, his wife, leaving him for another guy played by Kevin Bacon, which is kind of the same backstory motivation for Steve Carell's character in Dinner for Schmucks. While the idea, like a lot of films this week, seems kind of tired, this catchphrase is pretty funny.
Shut up, crime.
And what is this supposed to mean? From the lunatic that directed Slither, which is James Gunn. Here he's also the writer, and reportedly he came up with this idea back in 2002. And if it means anything to his filmmaking credibility, he did write the remake of Dawn of the Dead. And interestingly, in the Hollywood's a Small Town trivia department, James Gunn is the ex-husband of Jenna Fisher, who is on The Office with Rainn Wilson. So it's not a coincidence that he's starring in this film. While it seems like this idea is kind of played out, I gotta admit, the jokes here in the preview are working.
Don't steal. Don't deal drugs. Don't molest kids.
Then there's this.
You're not supposed to kill him.
It's wacky and funny, but again, it's kind of like Kick-Ass. All of a sudden it gets hyper-violent. With all this, with Rainn Wilson's deadpan, it seems like this should be worthy of a matinee price. It's got actor and story factors, it's perfect for comic book lovers, is a fanboy requirement, will make for a great bros night out, is a passion project for the director, and may just become a cult classic. And that all leads to this being a sign of movie hope. So until next week, consider yourselves advised. Remember, StoryCorp gives us more of what we pay for, and as always, long live good movies.